Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Today is August 5th, 2024. My name is Vinny Blasio. The opinions that I express in this video are all my own. I represent no organization, no agency, or no other entity except for that of myself. So with that said, first I'd like to start off by offering the staff at Collins a speedy recovery. The officers, including the nurse who suffered injuries while trying to help an inmate, it's just crazy. Staff does an amazing job every day, not just at Collins, but everywhere. And they need to all be recognized for the amazing job that they do day in and day out without any fanfare or recognition from John Q. Public. So we all know that we didn't take the job to be recognized as police in uniform on the streets to get seen every day, but you do all do an amazing job, and a job that most people wouldn't think to endure. So as I stated in my post yesterday, it's Monday, so it's time to dive right into things and do the morning quarterbacking. While I won't substitute my judgment for that of the officers, I will comment and put into context the common theme of the gross incompetence of the executive team at Collins. It is one thing to have repeated incidents, and it seems like everything has always happened at Collins, which that in itself is a problem. If you're doing things, maybe that's emboldening inmates. You think that it's not just DOC's policies, that maybe it could be something from local policies, the way the local administration handles things at Collins, that maybe that emboldens the inmates to be able to do these type of things and injure officers and bite fingers and the like. So, we'll start there. It is one thing to have repeated incidents with a common theme of problems at one facility, but to not take care of your own, which Collins did, is a kick in the face to these officers that go into work every day, day in and day out. While the staff who were injured, obviously they went to the Erie County Medical Center, ECMC, seeking medical treatment. After the long line of ambulances, were dropping off the officers from the facility to ECMC, not one person in management, not one, cared enough to stop out to ECMC to see them. Does that make any sense? Where's the compassion? That's like, the first thing that you're told in management is take care of your staff, have some concern. When there is no real concern, and we know that at Collins that's not to be, because they care more about, pamper fests and everything else, and we'll get into that in a minute, than they do their own staff. So nobody from that executive team, they were so busy while everybody else is working triples and coming into the jail because they see the ambulances, hear the sirens, watch the news, and not one person can make the trip from Collins to ECMC. Wow. So let's get in that. Not one person cared enough to see them, but rest assured they could be found at the festival right down the road. We did have the Eden Corn Festival going on. For those that are from Western New York, they all know what the Eden Corn Festival is. So they could be found there, but they couldn't be found driving the same distance, the opposite direction to get to downtown Buffalo to go to ECMC. Amazing, amazing. So with that said, how about saying that we care? That is a disgrace that no one showed up. But that's a common theme, however, at this facility. While there is smoke, there is fire. And what the hell? Rome is burning. We see it across the street, but more specifically, the spotlight is right there at Collins, showing their incompetence, because where there's smoke, there's fire, and Rome is burning. I don't know what else to say. It's like, you can shoot the messenger, and I get it. I'm the messenger. You don't like what I say, it's fine. Shoot the messenger, because that's usually the way. We won't really listen to what the words are, but there's got to be another reason why he's saying the things. How about maybe because it's factual and somebody is finally speaking up and saying that, hey, we have the officers back, and let's not look at who's doing the message, but how about we concentrate on what the message is? But no, I can't do that. Everyone might not always agree, but the majority of the people do believe, what I am saying, and we can prove that just by the silent majority in the messages that I get, and we'll get into that in a minute too. But what I'm saying is not wrong, because what I'm saying is what everyone else is thinking. And what do they say? That for one person that says it, there's usually 5 to 15 other people that are the silent majority that are thinking the same thing. And we go back to the common theme that of Collins, we've had the Pamper Fest for inmates' wives where we're at Collins, we've had inmate deaths, we had officers hurt, we had their fingers bitten off, and now we've had this exposure that sends the officers to the hospital at ECMC. And the hats do go off to those that did show up from the union and the other officers that took it upon themselves to show up. And we had a lieutenant who, I don't want to get him in trouble because it's coming from me giving him accolades, that he, on his day off, took the time to go to ECMC and see how the officers were doing and stayed with them until each and every one of them left. That is just truly amazing. So, how many missteps does it take to get to the center of this lollipop? And then to make matters worse, we have the local facility blame Albany, when the visit room, I think somebody, as I posted yesterday, they asked for the visit room to be closed. And Albany, or the facility does the finger pointing club and blames Albany. And Albany is not the one making decisions, the local facility is, but it's easier because they don't want to disturb the inmates. Let's disturb the officers in their home life, but let's not disturb the inmates. So let's blame Albany for policies and decisions that we made. That's lunacy. Who does that? But that's it. You get to the Finger Pointers Club. It's easy to blame Albany. And anybody that knows me, I don't have love for Albany people unless they do the right thing. When they do the right thing, I'll have accolades for them. When they do something wrong, it doesn't matter your title or position, I'll call them out too. It's certainly my opinion. But when they do right, and we certainly do have administrators and people in Albany that do the right thing. But who can blame Albany in this situation when Collins created it? So, I just cannot believe it. We have some, there's plenty of blame to go around, but I will not blame Albany for the decisions that Collins made. I always said that, I'll call out a superintendent, I'll call out the docs hierarchy, when they have done wrong, including friends of mine, because I do have friends that are in that position, though they don't think that I do. But I've also praised them when they do something good or they go above and beyond. It works both ways. So, but let's call the smoke that we're seeing, let's call it for what it is. And it's crazy times. I know that people are struggling, as I received yesterday alone, 147 messages, mostly from people that I have never even met. I've heard about the issues at Bedford, and as I stated on Facebook, the first place to address those issues is always informing your local union reps and local vice presidents. It's better that they hear it from you 100 times than them never hearing it all once. And though Facebook does seem the place to do your venting and the rumor mill and cognition of spreading of information, the local vice presidents and the local union reps need to hear that too, including the business agents. So, I don't know all the nuances that happened at Bedford, though I've heard bits and pieces. People have sent me, pictures of charts and all kinds of stuff, but we'll leave that alone for a minute, because I do not speak for the union, nor am I involved in the union any longer. If the information that was put all over the different groups, is accurate, it's a little disturbing to me. What's next? You called in OSI from all over the state. So what's next? We're going to have hub resource officers now. We're going to have statewide resource officers that we can just call. It's just crazy. That you can't keep calling everything a crisis. A crisis doesn't last years, and you cannot call it a crisis when you have done zero things to try to stop it. This did not happen overnight, and you cannot expect the same people that created this problem to solve it. Let me repeat that. You cannot have the same people that created this crisis, the same people to solve it. It just doesn't work that way. Their mind is not going in that direction. They created the problem and helped create the problems that we have with these crazy policies, and you want them to fix it? That's lunacy. So I don't know what the answer is. I'm retired. I hear the complaints. I just traveled around the whole New York State when I was home for the last 3 weeks, or used to be my home. My home is no longer. Obviously, it's in Florida. But I saw and spoke to most of you. The same sentiment is spread around the whole state. It's not limited just to Collins problem or a West problem. Your concerns are real and they need to be addressed. And you need to let some of the pressure off to let this not keep building up. If the small issues were addressed, then they wouldn't be turning into the mountains that they are today. I saw a great press release by the governor that they gave $66 million to do state police recruiting. They changed the requirements, lowered the standards for state police. We saw what just happened there. Everybody asked, what about docs? I don't have the answer for that. I'm not involved in it, but I have to agree. What about docs? That's a good question. Other states are issuing executive orders and advancing correction officer recruitment. Where is New York State? You know, where's the executive order from this governor addressing halt? You know, anyone can throw bombs and make critical statements, myself included. That part is easy. You know, anyone can stir the pot. That's even easier. But when nothing changes and every day things deteriorate, people say, what's next? A death of an employee? Maybe. We almost had that 24 hours ago. But as I've said repeatedly, a bad plan is better than no plan at all. You know, suggestions and changes have been presented, you know, but everybody buries their head in the sand and expects someone else to solve the problems. Hello, the issues are here for everybody to see, and let's get to work and solve them. And lastly, we had Great Meadow. They had their rally, which was lost, you know, in some of the madness yesterday with all the different things. But the rally was very well attended. They had powerful message coming from the family members of that. So is anyone really listening? That I don't know, but it was a good attended rally. And that needs to be recognized because we all know at the end of the day, it's political. You know, look at the video that I posted from Senator Salazar. You know, in her words, she said it the best, that, you know, she was almost happy and gleeful that Great Meadow was closing. And that's political. That's not based on any research or facts. You know, on a separate note, August 15th, there's a rally in the Angola area of Western New York, and I hope everyone attends that. That's to address the issues. That's not a rally for prison closures per se. That's to address the issues that are going on inside the facilities where the families can't even see their loved ones because they're at work working doubles, triples. And that issue needs to be addressed as much as they can. So we'll start another video soon. So I'll put this on YouTube and we'll get to work, and then we'll pick up where I left off. Thank you.